Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for December 20th, 2025. It is Saturday. We've got a full random kingdom. And we've got Upgrade and Secluded Shrine and Sacrifice for trashing. Also, Overlord can be played as those cards. We've got there's no draw. Okay. Unfortunate. For plus actions, it's just Sacrifice and Scepter. I guess with the lack of draw, that doesn't matter as much, but disappointing. And then for gains, there's a lot of gaining. We've got Craftsman, Buried Treasure, Smugglers, Soothsayer, looting for loots. Upgrading loots into provinces is probably the theoretical highest potential output from this deck, given the lack of trashing. You getting a double province turn. I mean, there's Pageant to store up coffers, and there's Buried Treasure to have some duration money. So you can potentially double province or even better, utilizing those. But I think upgrade a loot into a province is how would you look at that in terms of the number of cards? I mean, upgrade isn't a stop card, but then it trashes a card, which removes that card from your deck. I don't know. I mean, whatever. The point is that it's pretty. It doesn't take very many cards to get that province. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's, I think, going to be something to look at, and is a good reason to try to get thin if we didn't need one anyway, so we can line stuff up. Getting a couple overlords for that seems nice, because that way, if you don't have the upgrade targets, it's fine. In terms of how to open, we definitely want to take an overlord. The question is, do we want to take anything else with it? We could take Pageant, just to get that going. And it does allow us to basically pay one coffer towards that overlord if we want to. I don't know if we particularly want say Innkeeper in the deck. I guess in the early game it should be pretty good for lining up Overlord / upgrade with estates. Though admittedly, turning those into silvers isn't the most exciting thing anyway. Maybe we would consider playing Sacrifice depending on the situation. I think I prefer to just get the Pageant. We're not going to the first time we see the Overlord, we shouldn't have any trouble lining it up with an estate anyway. I mean, granted, the Innkeeper would also accelerate the shuffle potentially, but we could also just buy Overlord and pay off most of the debt. That's the other option. What would that help us do? I guess the thing is, probably the thing we're going to buy after that is another Overlord, because it's just a lot more flexible here. And then, like, we'll want to get some buried treasure. We can potentially do that with Overlord as Craftsman, too. Yeah, I'm actually kind of leaning towards just take the Overlord on turn 1. So that we can get a second one more quickly. I mean, I guess we might as well do this. Wait, no. Oh, we don't... Oops, we don't have Pageant. What am I doing? Okay. Now... Do we want to take some card other than another Overlord? We have 4 coins, so we could take Pageant now and bank a coffer. Maybe that's a good idea. It probably is. Okay, I think now... I do kind of think sacrificing Estate looks better than turning it into silver. And pick up another Overlord and just pay off no debt and take the coffer. Yeah, I kind of want to just keep sacrificing these. It really doesn't matter too much, the coffers versus the debt thing here, but might as well take the coffers. Unfortunate that we bottom decked the other Overlord. We just go ahead and keep on trucking here. We could spend our coffers on something. I'm not sure what we would spend it on, though. I think I'll do that. And now we could get looting here. Spend some coffers on that. How do we feel about playing Soothsayer? We could also just, like, sacrifice a copper. Take the looting. Buried treasure is also an option, like with the craftsman thing, or just buying it. Like, it's not entirely clear to me that buried treasure isn't just better than looting just because of the fact that it only costs half a card to draw. Of course, you only see it every other turn, but that doesn't really matter because we don't have any. It's not like well, I guess the turn you draw it, it's a stock. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's better. It's spikier is the main thing, and we do want to have the option to upgrade loot into province, as I mentioned earlier. So probably do want to put at least a few loots into the deck. Uh... Hmm... If we're going to take a buried treasure... craftsmaning for it? Ugh. I guess is more efficient, but I guess we want to trash the copper anyway. Maybe we just want to loot. Yeah. I think so. Let's get the looting. Doubloons? That is not particularly what I was looking for. Huh. Well, now we have more money than we need for looting purposes, so we could just play upgrade, or we could use craftsman. Feel very uncertain in general about this board. So yeah, I mean, we could do craftsman for buried treasure and still buy looting if we wanted to. We know we have our other overlord in the next hand, which is nice. Trashing these coppers is pretty valuable, though. I think we'll do that. Puzzle box. Okay, that's better. The way that my is this, I don't know if this is normal and it's just that the bot's turns are faster than normal or whatever, but like I'm like not drawing my full hand until sometime after the bot has started doing things, and it makes it look like it's like the bot playing soothsayer or whatever. Like, confusing. Anyway, all right. So now if we sacrifice, we do have plus buy. We have 9 coins plus our coffers. I mean, we could just buy a province, I guess. Puzzle box a copper, sacrifice a copper, buy province. Or not puzzle box the copper and take the coffer would probably actually make more sense. Or I think that's a little premature. We could get one more looting and puzzle box the gold. Oh, we don't have any plus buy next turn, do we? That is a good reason to take buried treasure. Well, we could puzzle box the gold and just buy buried treasure, and then we know we have the plus buy next turn. That's reasonable. And we get to store up a coffer as well. Okay, this time I did in fact draw a card from the bot. Thank you, bot. Upgrade. Very good. Let's just assume we're playing sacrifice again. Although upgrading again to try to get to the puzzle box, it certainly makes sense, but supposing we didn't do that. I mean, this could just be province buried treasure. We don't specifically need buried treasure next turn. So we could also take another looting. We could even go double looting. And then start greening. And then the advantage of that is we have more loot to feed to the upgrade machine if we want. Yeah. Let's look at what we get. Ooh, Sextant's a good one. Okay. Probably want a puzzle box of copper for the overlords to trash. We do that. I mean, 4 of this turn doesn't do very much. Unless we want to spend our coffers. But I think we want to save those for provinces, generally speaking. So, the other thing we could do is puzzle box the Sextant because we don't get as much value from it this turn. I mean, I guess I'm not 100% sure that I actually have a copper down there, if I have 4 coppers or 3 coppers. Oh, apparently I do. Apparently the bot has trashed all of its copper. Wow. Okay, that... Yeah, that further convinces me that I want to be doing this. So I think we just go next turn, this. Actually, now that I think about it, we don't have any of our plus buy down there either, and the buried treasure is not going to be in play, so... Yeah. Do we want to discard any of this? I mean, I would like to trash that curse. Maybe we discard the gold. That way, like, we can play Overlord. We're more likely to see the curse, but if we don't, we can always upgrade the doubloons into a province. I think that's fine. Keep the buried treasure. Converting 5 coffers into a buried treasure does not seem like a good idea. Wow, double looting again. Jeez. Alright, let's go ahead and trash the curse. And unfortunately, we can't quite... This is like slightly inefficient with the 10 coins, but... It does make spending 3 coffers to get a buried treasure better, right? I mean, it's really spending 4 coffers. It's because spending the coffer that we won't generate. But it's better than spending 5, is the point. But probably still not worth it. Well, I was gonna say I feel like the Soothsayer drawing me a card is beneficial, more beneficial than that hurts at this point. But unfortunately, we didn't see either of the Overlords. Okay, so again, the Sextant does not look amazing for next turn. I mean, like for what the 5 cards that we have down there, because we have like the 2 Overlords. We do have a province. Okay. Okay, that's reason enough. I'll go ahead and discard the copper to We don't have to play them both as upgrades in any case. 12, 13, 16. So we can just double province here. Is that safe? The bot does not have any buried treasures. It has a lot of loot. It has bought a lot of loot. I don't really know how likely it is to be able to upgrade multiple loots into provinces. We know we have the doubloons for next turn that we can upgrade. I think we should probably only take one province. In which case, probably next turning this. Puzzle boxing. The gold. And just buy a province. And then when we have these, we're going to have 7 coffers. We should have a lot of reach to try to close it out. Wait, they have another Endless Chalice? Okay. Okay, so upgrade. Ugh, that's a terrible draw. That is a truly terrible draw. Like, we drew... Wait, do we have... We have 4 provinces? The bot only has 1? Okay, maybe that wasn't so unlikely. Well, here's the issue. We play upgrade again. We may not... But what if we play the other Overlord as Innkeeper, though? We've got a lot of stuff we could discard. First double province. So we could do that. And then all we need to do is like find 1 loot. Yeah, I think. Now what happens if we go with the 5-6 option? Then we need to... So we can either try to find 1 loot in 3 cards, or 2 loot in 5 cards. 1 loot in 3 cards sounds better. Unreal. Are you... What? I'm 1 coin short. That's so fucked. Oh my god. Didn't even find the fucking buried treasure to at least play that. This draw could not have been worse. Well, I mean, that's probably game, but I guess we'll go province, touchy, and hope for the best. Oh, wow. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess if they'd bought province, they would have lost. I just kind of figured... Okay. That was weird. So the bot had hammer, gold, shield. and 2 coffers. It did not gain or lose coffers here. So it had exactly 10 coins, plus the 2 coffers. So it was 1 coin short of Province Duchy, which actually would have only been a tie anyway. All right, maybe I miscounted the number of points ahead that I was after that. I was ahead by 1 point, and then I bought Province Duchy, so then I was ahead by 10. Is that right? Because I had 38 and it had 28. Yeah, and it did gain the estate that it needed with the hammer. Maybe my odds to win were actually still very good at that point. Huh. Well, that was a weird one. I mean, I guess the what I was expecting to happen is the bot to upgrade a loot into a province, and then like getting, I don't know, double duchy or something, But I guess even that would not have necessarily been that easy. I mean, it did have 2 unspent coffers, so it probably would have been able to hit that, but maybe not. I don't know. The bot had less loot than I thought. I mean, I know it trashed some. A chalice and a doubloons. Huh. I mean, it did buy looting 6 times. That seems like too many times to me. I bought it 4 times. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be an awkward kingdom and fairly like RNG dependent either way, because you're certainly not getting deck control. I mean, for me, like my draws were in the like sort of mid to late game were particularly strange, where I kept like colliding the overlords. Not that necessarily mattered too much, but it was certainly notable. And I was having a little trouble lining them up with my remaining coppers and stuff like that. I kept like seeing the sextant when it didn't have the opportunity to do very much discarding. Like, I think sextant is really good here, but for me it didn't live up to expectations. But yeah, if I had to say, I mean, I think the flexibility of the overlords was really nice, and like the bot took more cards. It took 2 upgrades, a soothsayer, bleh, and a sacrifice. I guess it also took an innkeeper. I took an innkeeper. No, I didn't take any. No, it took 2 innkeepers. Oh, never mind. I guess it was doing upgrade into duchy stuff with that. Fair enough, I suppose. I don't know. This is not the kind of deck where I would necessarily want it to have to score too much on duchies, just because, like, it's just hard to get a whole bunch of them at once. Like, usually when you're in the position of trying to catch up on duchies, you want to be able to gain a lot of them at once, or else, your deck falls apart and your points are less dense and all that. So I don't know if that was like the bot's plan, but if it was, I don't love it. But yeah, it gained like more cards than I did, but the Overlord flexibility was really nice, just in terms of like being able to. I mean, that innkeeper play did not work out, but it would have been game winning if I hadn't bottom decked my loots. I never did do craftsman for buried treasure because I kept preferring to sacrifice copper, but I think that definitely could have come up, and would have potentially been good. like there were situations where I would hit like 10, right, and like get like buy a province and get a coffer. And if I'd had an overlord in hand on some of those hands, and this is what I mean about like the kind of awkward shuffles, because if like I'd had an overlord in hand on one of those hands, I could have instead played overlord as craftsman, and yeah, I wouldn't have gotten the coffer, but I would have gotten a buried treasure in play for the next turn. But that just like kept not happening. So I do like the overlords from that perspective. Overlord as smugglers could have also come up if I'd needed a duchy. That's a way to get one if the bot has gained one that wouldn't come with 2 dead or wouldn't require having a 4-cost card in the deck. So like that could be good. I did consider the possibility that I would do Overlord as Soothsayer, but I don't know. Soothsayer doesn't impress me too much here. Like I'm not actually that excited about having gold in my deck because you've got like loot and buried treasure. I think is generally just going to be stronger, and you can't upgrade the golds into provinces unlike the loots. And you are drawing your opponent a card. Yes, you're giving them a curse. And meanwhile, your current turn is worse for having played the Soothsayer and having that stop card. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't love Soothsayer here, but I could see situationally, like if you had the Overlord and you're like, oh, I don't have any copper to trash, and I don't know, I'd probably just play Craftsman for buried treasure, but you know, it could come up. But yeah, anyway, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.